So I'm Seth Gardenswartz. I'm with Surefi, and we're here for Behind the Beer. Behind the Beer is when we, of course, we go talk to brewers and brewery entrepreneurs and find out the backstory. And so part of the backstory here is we're looking at this like beautiful mid-century tile. We are standing in a fire station. So tell me how we got how we get to a fire station, Hamlet?
We are standing upstairs in Station 26 Brewing Company, which originally used to be Denver Fire Station number 26. Sat here out front on 38th Avenue in Northeast Denver, vacant for a number of years before our president and founder, Justin Backery, discovered it as a perfect location in which he wanted to open his own brewery. And so he found the title owner via court records and reached out to them, and it was actually going to become, he was in discussions, the owner was in discussions about making the space a CrossFit studio when Justin was able to convince him that it would be better served as a brewery. So we have been here now almost 4 years in December, and we have tried to maintain as much as possible the original feel and aesthetic and general environment around the original fire station. So as you said, our original tile is still in here and downstairs, and we have the sliding poles
Right over there.
Yeah,
You got to come to the brewery to see it, but trust me, it's right. It's right
Yeah.
there, and there's rules about how you can use it. So.
right, exactly.
So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because like a lot of these fire stations are getting upgraded and they've got different. They just can't. The old school fire stations can't accommodate the current needs, and so here you've got these really cool, pieces of the urban landscape,
Totally.
kind of the urban history, and I mean CrossFit's a great company, but this is now you're not just serving beer across the bar, you're manufacturing, you're putting beer in cans and shipping it all over the state and elsewhere. So
Totally.
that's that's a powerful piece. So tell me how. Obviously, there are a couple breweries in Denver. Just a few. It's kind of growing. I think it's gonna be big. But what? And one of the things I love about this space is that first of all, brewers are a very collegial group, but also that each space has its own niche. So tell me how you define that.
Totally. Well, that's what's so fun about all these different breweries is that, everyone is so different and everyone finds their own little path, their own little niche, their own little details that make them unique in who they are. And for us, that has less to do, I think, with the actual beer itself. What you find in the craft beer business is that a lot of people try and separate themselves by making the most unique, the weirdest.
No, the best. Like it's going to be the best, dude.
Right.
It's going to be the best. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And people, sometimes equate best with strange or weird or craft. They've taken it kind of, to extreme levels. And for us, we're more interested in having a really cool, unique space that's fun for people to come and drink beers in. We're interested in having really welcoming and talk, and knowledgeable staff, and also really high quality, drinkable, classic beers that also have an element of experimentation to them that is not, weird and experimental just for the sake of being experimental.
Right. Just to be out there.
Right. And we feel that our aesthetic and our vibes inside of our building with our staff and our space and our very, classic, consistently good beers are what, makes us who we are.
Right. No, it's funny you bring that up because place is, Surefi's in a pretty good position to kind of look at what traffic looks like in a different place, and place is really important. People really respond to place, and so we can see some data out of sites, and like loyalty is a really good indication of like what percentage of your customers are frequent, how often they come back, and I think that there is particularly because you're in a cool older building, not on the main corner.
Exactly.
There's a really neighborhoody feel here, where it's sort of it's not like oh, we're on the corner of Colorado and Colfax or something where there's just like whole world would whiz by. But no, this is like a deeper cut.
It's something that we're excites us a lot, yeah, because we are off the beaten path, and you have to kind of, for people that are right downtown or in Rhino neighborhood or, in West Denver, you have to travel kind of a little bit to get to us.
Right.
So we're a bit of a destination in that regard, but we're also where we are, very much the neighborhood tap room in this area.
So that's actually, interestingly, it's part of how we met.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine and I were supposed to have lunch downtown. At the last minute, he had a home emergency. Like, he had to go home, do a little parenting, and he's like, "But I could meet you for a beer at this place called Station 26, kind of near. He lives in Stapleton." And I'm like, "That sounds better than lunch." So I walk in, I was like, "This place is cool."
Yeah.
And then we ran into each other. I just sort of had a little bit of that sort of brand impression.
Right.
And then I saw your name tag at the events conference.
Right.
Like, hey, you're Station 26, and
right.
then we sort of
and that's
got
how it happened.
about, yeah, exactly.
And it is, we being a destination tap room, that was kind of how Justin originally envisioned the business. Just making good beers in a really cool, classic old building.
Right.
And catering to people in the area and anybody around the city or travelers that wanted to stop by. But we found ourselves kind of snowballing.
Right.
And so, started canning beers in 2015 and
right.
shipping them all over the Front Range, and things have kind of taken off from there.
Right. Yeah, so tell me about that, because you sort of start with this really powerful kind of brand statement and identity plan, and then all of a sudden people want to take that identity home with them, or to buy it someplace else. And
it's cool to be able to expand and grow and start to sell beers in cans and sell beers on draft all over the city and all over, between Fort Collins and Colorado Springs. But it's also to maintain the original intent.
Right.
Really makes for we're talking about how you stand out and how you be unique. I think that makes us, a unique entity in this market.
Right.
Being able to maintain our feel and our brand identity of being a neighborhood tap room, but also, shipping us all over the place and having people take us home and right. enjoy us wherever they want to.
Well, you take home a little bit of that neighborhood tap room. That's
ideally.
That's the thing. You walk into some, in Colorado, at least for now, you still get to go to liquor stores, but you walk in there and it's like, I'm going to take home a piece of St. Louis, Milwaukee. Not really. It feels very
right.
productized.
Right.
But when I saw your cans downtown yesterday, and I was like, and when I saw them, I thought of that place near Stapleton that's got the parking lot, it's across the park, and
right,
and there's
right,
the pole and the fire hoses or the backdrop to the menu
right.
and all that, and the watermelon goza. Those are the things that like pop through my head. So, but I think that's a important achievement to say you've taken this feeling from the tap room, you've managed to put the feeling in cans in the form of beer, and sell that feeling in all over the Front Range.
And things are only getting better, so
growing. That's not every part of the sector is growing. So
no, not at all. We feel very unique,
right.
or very not unique if in that regard, but we feel excited about the future.
Right. So what do you think have been any things that you sort of like, oh gosh, I wish we'd done that differently? Like,
well, from my perspective, certainly. I mean, there are small things every day.
Right.
But as far as the development and growth of the business, I've only been on board about 6 months now.
Right. But how about some origin stories where Justin's like, okay, guys, we're not going to do it this way again. Like,
well, I'm sure that he would have his thoughts about where he might have done things differently. I think, to be honest with you, I came on at a point where, what we're talking about this growth,
right.
where I was needed.
Right. It's good to be needed.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. And so, it feels, but Justin, I'm sure, has his thoughts about what he would change and what small things would have done differently. But to be honest with you, we're on a trajectory.
Right.
That is, I don't think anybody would trade for anything.
Right.
So whatever has been done to get us to this point, I think,
right. Keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Right.
I mean, I probably, wouldn't change anything in the grand scheme of things because we're doing well.
Right.
So,
right. So next coming events, like what's the next?
So next weekend is the Great American Beer Festival, which is obviously which is obviously a very big deal for breweries across the country.
Right.
And especially Denver breweries, hometown breweries, a chance to really get in front of a lot of people and
that national stage,
right, and show off what we got. So we have a ton of events coming up for that. We're tapping an IPA that we're calling Same Day IPA, which is a pretty interesting concept, meaning we're gonna condition it and finish the beer leading up to the morning of Friday, October 6th, and then we are all hands on deck going to keg off the beer, package it, deliver it, tap it in accounts across the city.
Wow.
And then be enjoyed all in that one day. So, it's hard to get that.
That's an experience.
Kind of freshness.
Yeah.
So that's a big event we have coming. We have some special tappings, some collaborations with other breweries all over the city, and very excited about that. We're in the works about, talking about a big event in November for our annual Dark Star Imperial Stout release.
Right.
We have that's kind of a pseudo birthday party for us, as well as a special beer release that we've kind of been doing every year now, and we've kind of been upping the game on that.
Right.
So we're working on that, and then just our normal fun taproom events, bluegrass brunches, and crawfish boils, and things like that.
It sounds like a ton of fun.
Oh yeah.
So one thing I just kind of ran into, I'm jiggling the camera here for sorry viewers at home. How many breweries are in fire stations?
So there's actually, I saw an article recently that was about this topic. To be honest with you,
it's not. I mean, we don't know the exact number, but it's not like there's a few.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In the country,
right,
for sure. And
right.
Talking about this trend of making old fire stations craft breweries, but we started it about 4 years ago,
right?
And as far as I know, there weren't. I didn't
hear
of any.
You're probably one of the first, yeah.
Totally, and definitely one of the only in Denver that I know of, or in the whole state of Colorado. So,
it's a cool,
yeah,
kind of metaphor for reinvesting in the neighborhoods. I think Denver's done a exceptionally good job at that.
Yeah, so. and I like that's part of our brand identity.
Right.
We don't want to be a firehouse turned craft brewery.
Right.
We want to be a craft brewery that happens to be inside of a firehouse.
Right.
But it is fun to be at beer festivals and other events,
right? And
to have people come up and be like, "You guys are the ones in the fire station,
right?
That's such a cool place."
Right. It's part of your origin story.
Yeah.
You didn't like build it from scratch.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Is there any other story or kind of unique little anecdote that is not on the Facebook page, or something about the original founders of the days you got open, or some of that?
Well, I think that I know that Justin, when he had settled on opening a brewery in Denver, took out a map and he identified the location of every brewery that he knew of in the city.
Right.
And he circled the places that were holes that
right.
did not have one.
Right.
Then he jumped on his bike and he biked around those places. And he happened to bike in front of this closed up fire station.
Right.
And it intrigued him, obviously. Right. And he could not find an owner to save his life, so he went to the court and went to court records and found the guy. And I think that the fact that he was that close to turning it into a CrossFit studio is a pretty good anecdote. It says a lot about, well, Denver's a very active city too, a very fit city, but it's also a big beer city. So I think it was a perfect metaphor for the city of these two, battling entities for the space.
I think Speaking strictly for myself, I think beer and fitness go. I mean, actually, not speaking strictly for myself. I think beer and fitness go pretty well together.
They do.
You see a lot of beer and craft beer consumed by people that I would call consistent athletes.
Right. People who do yoga out in our side yard, you know, and then everyone enjoys beers afterwards. It's true, but I do love that it makes perfect sense to me that was almost a CrossFit studio, and then Justin swooped in.
I think if you had a CrossFit studio next door, I know just enough about CrossFit to know that they spend a lot of time on nutrition. I don't know what exactly they say about beer, but it's worked for a lot of athletes much faster than I. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Pamela, I really appreciate you spending some time with us this morning, and thanks
for appreciate it
for everything I've learned from you guys. And
Thank you.
We'll keep building this brand, guys. This is step back in the frame here. Seth Garden Swartz. This is Behind the Beer, and we'll talk to you again from a brewery somewhere